Hello and welcome back to another Dynamic Duo Presents. Today, as you can tell, it's me, myself, and the beautiful Kanan, but also there is an MMA King Crease Jr. But wait a minute. Every time we tend to do these videos, there's always some random third guy joining the stream, thinking he's the big man, always showing up, and we don't even know who he is. So introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I am Phantom X.
So, if you don't know who Phantom X is, he's a good friend of my other friend down there. So, we're going to be talking about the movie you see in the background. As you can see, Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito. So, it could only be Batman Returns. So, I usually always go last, and that's what I'm going to do first this time round again. So, what we're going to do is go round the table, as you can see, and we're going to say what we liked about the movie, what we disliked about the movie, why you should go back and rewatch it, or if you shouldn't go rewatch it, you know, maybe someone will play devil's advocate, you never know. And let's just have some fun. So, let's go with my resident Texan, MMNK Kings Jr.
What's going on, guys? Well, so Batman Returns. Okay, so I kind of got a love-hate with this movie, cause I watched it because I watched Batman Forever first, and then go back and watch these Burton movies. I never had that attachment to it or whatever. So for me, once again, the first Batman, the first Tim Burton Batman, I always been saying that the Tim Burton movies are kind of a little bit overrated to me because they still got a little bit of that campiness factor and whatever. Just like some of the Schumacher's films, Christmas and Batman, I just don't see the mix with it.
Yeah,
maybe that's just me or whatever. But yeah, I think it's an okay movie. That's on the top of my head. I'm gonna give it to Phantom X because you know what, he actually watched this in theaters, so he could give a better perspective than me and my man Adam can.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I got to see it in theaters, and I just went back and rewatched it in 4K DVD high def, remastered. It still holds up. It still holds up today as it did when it was released all those years ago. I think it's probably the strongest out of the original 4 movies, in my opinion. I think the whole subplot with, the whole Penguin trying to make Batman look like a bad guy, villain type deal didn't work for me, but the rest of the movie was really good. Michelle Pfeiffer was a good Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Danny DeVito's Penguin was so iconic. They actually, when they did the animated series, they took his Penguin and made their animated Penguin based off of him. And you gotta think the original Batman anime series was so phenomenal, and the special effects, the whole storyline and everything. It was still top tier for me.
Well, see, for me, I like this movie, but I have a lot of gripes, especially because I can remember a lot of issues with a lot of things. I still love it. I do like Danny DeVito's Penguin, don't get me wrong. Am I necessarily a big fan of the design? No, not really. I don't like my Penguin having 3 little weird stubble hands. But, I didn't mind it in the animated series because, it's a cartoon. That makes sense to me. He's a cartoon character. It's no good big deal. Yeah. But one of the things that did stick out to me about these movies in particular that I've always hated is Commissioner Gordon does not exist in these fucking films. And it irks me so much.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
One of the most important dynamics, especially within the Batman universe, other than the Robins, other than Batgirl herself, it's Commissioner Gordon. In this movie, he's just a fumbling goofball, and it's the same going forward. He never changes, and he barely has any screen time in all these movies. I think someone actually done it, and it was 10 minutes between all the movies or something. It was that small. I can't remember the exact time, but it's just so for me, I didn't like that. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, I liked her. I don't like the Catwoman storyline where she falls out of a window and she gets licked by cats, and that's how she becomes Catwoman. I fucking hate that part of the story.
Yeah.
They used it in this, and they used it in that horrible Halle Berry fucking Catwoman movie as well.
Ooh, boy.
So I really hate that storyline. I don't care. You could make it the most beautiful cinematic told story, and I'll still fucking hate it because that these two fucking versions of Catwoman. I just don't like that version of like she accidentally falls out a window or some evil guy pushes her out of a window. You know, it's like, oh no. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I have to say Gary Oldman is like the best Commissioner Gordon in
see, I
film.
would argue that the guy from the new the Batman is the best one. He might not be the, as people would say, the correct skin tone. Oh, how dare you like change his color of skin? I'm sorry, he's more Jim Gordon to me because my biggest issue with the Nolan films is Gordon's just like this Gordon. He's in it, but he's not in it enough. And you don't see the the relationship well with Batman and Gordon. It's just already established. They just nod at each other. There's no really them working together. It's just like they already know what's happening together. Where and then like later on, like the Batman, you actually see them working together. Like Jim knows everybody hates Batman, but he'll pretend to punch him and get him away. And like that to me builds up a better, stronger connection. Where Gary Oldman is the best looking one, but when it comes to actual Jim Gordon, he's good at the way he portrays the character, but there's layers of the character that I feel like are missing.
Well, I had no issues of them, race swapping Gordon for
Yeah.
the Batman movie. I have never had no issues if they do that, as long as they put it forefront that that's not why their race is more prominent because of that. You know, it's like Lawrence Fishburne in Men of Steel. He was a great Perry White. I liked this Perry White.
Yeah.
And it's like I watch Nerd Erotic and Geeks and Gamers and stuff. So myself, when it comes to like movies, like if you're gonna race swap somebody, as long as you do it and
Make
it's
it
not
good.
like the focus, like the real focus of it.
Yeah.
It's
not
fine.
shoved in your face. Like it's not like
Yeah.
Exactly.
we done this thing. It's more just like it's
mean-
done, but the actor that plays him, even though it is a race swap character, his performance is so outstanding. Like it doesn't really fucking matter. It's like that's
Yeah.
that's why I don't mind race swap characters.
On that note, like I got a problem with race swap characters. Hey, you wouldn't even think about it. But yeah, I got a problem with race swap characters. But my only rule is this: it's like as long as they do a great job at the role, like okay, all right. I don't like the way the studio's doing what they're doing because of their personal politics, whatever. But
DEI
if you crush
stuff.
it or whatever, aka William Neeson, Batman Begins. He played Ra's al Ghul. We all know that Ra's al Ghul is basically Middle Eastern, like or in some
He's
tastes
Asian.
Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever. But like William Neeson, white guy, Scott, like Irish or whatever. And he killed it. Like he was a badass as as Ra's al Ghul, and it was something that I could believe. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, as long as you do it correctly, hey, I don't got a problem with it. Like I can get past my personal biases and just say like, okay, that actor killed it. I could give him his respect or her respect or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things. Well, obviously, like speaking on Batman Returns again as well, it's more just like for me, like that's what my issue with a lot of the Batman live adaptations have been, is that they take a character and they change them so much sometimes. Like some of them, sometimes like where like Danny DeVito and obviously Michelle, they done it really well, but like obviously they're closer to the original characters. One of the things that I think I will throw in here, which I know is going to get me a lot of fucking hate, but you know me, Danny, I love a little bit of a fucking fun time. So I wasn't actually a big fan of the Catwoman costume in this. I didn't like the stitched
I
up
wasn't
hair.
either. I wasn't
Me
either.
either. Me either.
Hey!
Like,
I mean, come on. Her claws were her things from her sewing machine. Man.
Yeah. It's just
See, for me, like
just
that's
look
one of the
she took like a trash bag and just said like, yeah,
Duct tape,
yeah,
stapler.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like that one of the things that I've noticed about a lot of the live adaptation of Batman movies, they don't know how to do the costumes right. So instead of actually putting in the time and effort, they're like, it's close enough to a trash bag. So why don't we say she made it out of a trash bag? Or like
It's like that meme of a woman trying to find something to wear, and she literally grabs garbage bags and makes a costume out of it.
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing.
You think she's being smart, but she looks god awful in it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like it's ridiculous about these types of stuff, you know. Like for me, I love, maybe making it make sense why they made a new costume, or like you get to see the costume being made and things. Like hell, as much as like I am a fan of the Tobey Spider-Man. Like I'm not I don't love it like everybody else does, but I like seeing people make suits. That was cool. That was a cool montage. But like, when it comes to like stuff like this, where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put a bin bag on. I'm just like, come on, you could have been a bit better than that. It could have made more sense that
Yeah.
she started cat burglaring, and that's when
Yeah.
she was like, somebody calls her a cat burglar, and she's like, oh yeah, now this makes more sense. Where I didn't just explain it. She's just like, yeah, I'll just make myself look like a cat because I got licked by cats and now I'm alive again. And you know what? I'm gonna make it out of a trash bag. Yay,
Well,
That's why I'm finna say this real quick. I said, like, I know I might get some controversial, and I'm gonna probably get some hate for this, but you know what? Screw it. You know what? I don't care. I think for me, I think Zoe Kravitz was just a better Catwoman
Yep.
than Michelle Pfeiffer
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
That's just me and everything.
That's me
It
as
was more
well.
believable. It was more believable to me, however.
Yeah.
And
Like,
she's better than Holly Bailey ever was. That
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
To be fair, I think the only one that we sort of disliked, but then we sort of came around to, but it's just that we didn't get to see enough of her, was the Anne Hathaway Catwoman.
Yeah.
Mm. I like her costume though. I mean, I like how her glasses would go up on her head. Man,
Yeah.
nice tight fitting, especially when she was on the bat pod and she was blowing that thing up. Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, getting back to
She's got the
returns, like,
cushion in, cushion that trunk, man.
Yeah. But getting back to returns, for me, returns is one of those movies that you can go back and you will always love it, especially if you're like Phantom over here, where you grew up and you actually got to go see it in the cinema. It is a good Batman movie overall. There is a bit of stuff that I don't like about it, and especially Danny, my friend over there. But there's also stuff like, there is stuff that they've done well. Like, as much as I don't really like the outfit, Michelle was really good as Catwoman. Danny
Yeah.
DeVito, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of like the weird three-hand thing, he did
Yeah.
really well. Like, yeah, he's not your stereotypical Edward Cobblepot you've known, from the comics, where it's like, he's more cunning and he's more of a gangster type person than he is, like a penguin guy living under the fucking sewer with penguins. That's one of the other gripes I had. Why the fuck's he kicking about with penguins? I'm sorry. I know he's called a penguin, but come on, like, make it fucking believable.
And also the circus plot thing. It
Oh
didn't make
yeah, the
sense to me.
circus plot push, and the fact that he was like put in a lake, like he was put down like a river because he was an ugly baby, so he was living under the sewer. I'm like, dude, are you trying to tell the story of like the crocodile like story that came out fucking years ago? Or are you trying to tell the story of the penguin? I can't fucking tell here because like I don't get it.
Didn't they redcon that role and put towards Killer Croc in the animated series?
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
he was part
To
of
be
the-
fair, I think
Yeah.
they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more better, but I mean, when it comes to the Penguin, I mean, if you think the only Penguin we ever actually had, live action was Burgess Meredith from the '66 Batman,
Yeah.
which was, I mean, he was a good character, and the only reason he got his iconic Penguin laugh is because he choked on his cigarette smoke because he didn't like cigarettes.
Yeah.
But hands down, I mean, I like the aspect that he was deformed and stuff. But like, you're right about the whole penguin thing. I mean, we know he used penguins as weapons and his minions, all that. But in all, I think like one of my biggest gripes about the whole Catwoman outfit. I think the best Catwoman outfit I've ever seen has to be either Julie Newmar from the original '66 Batman or the Catwoman from the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah, Julia
perfect
Newmar-
costumes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Julia Newmar, like, I'm a huge fan of the 1966 Batman. Like, she got it.
Oh, wait, Danny, before you go on. This one's for you, Jacob.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Julia Newmar because like it was just believable, like how she got like the voice, she got the seduction to get Batman to do whatever she wanted him to do for
Also,
her.
yeah,
Stuff like that.
Ursula Cat was the second Catwoman.
Oh yeah,
and-
Eartha Kitt. Yeah.
Eartha Kitt, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the one that was in the '66 Batman movie? She only did that one time.
Oh yeah. To be fair, they changed her like 3 times, did they not?
Yeah.
Because it started off. with well, it was two white women, and then it was like a black woman
Yeah.
that took over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Julie
Urban Kid was
Julie Nungmar was the first Catwoman, live
Yeah.
action Catwoman.
I'm
I
trying
actually
to
have
see.
her action figure around here somewhere put up. I actually got it because I had the set with the
Oh, nice.
66 Batman stuff, and
Yeah.
I got her
Lee
separate.
Merriweather.
Yeah.
Merriweather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is
Yeah.
like she's the one from the Batman 66 movie, which that
Yeah.
movie is hokey as crap, but it still
But it's
holds
funny.
up too.
It's still
Yeah,
funny.
true.
And we will be doing that down the line.
Yeah.
Trust
Oh,
me.
I better
No,
be on that episode. I
know,
love that movie.
Danny, you know, it's another episode, it's another mention. One other thing that would have made this movie a lot better is if this boy was in it. You know,
Yeah.
just point out, you know,
That's next time. Next time.
maybe next
Yeah.
time. But the thing that annoys me the most, like about these Batman movies, is that they skip this Robin, but they also skip every other Robin. You know, eventually gets into the next one, which is after this. Which he was actually decent in that one until they made him a whiny bitch in the last one, which we've already discussed about. So to me, like, I think they should have brought him in on this because I know the 2004 cartoon didn't exist yet, but how funny would it have been to see like a Dick Grayson fight in Danny DeVito Penguin? To me, I can't get that image in my head. I think that would be
That would have
fucking
been
amazing.
good. That would have been fun.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm
see him
saying.
as
You
a
know,
kid.
like Catwoman's more predominantly focused on Batman and luring him in with the seduction and getting them to do what he wants, and having Robin in the corner being like, "Yo, dude, what are you doing?" Like, to me, I like that dynamic where it's like, I like the dynamic too. What can I say? I like the dynamic too because the thing that
Hey.
bothers me the most about these movies is that we get cool Batman. You know, depending on your takes, you know. Michael Keaton was a great Batman, or if you're like me and Danny, you know, it's like, he's an alright Batman. But like one thing that I always felt like these movies were missing were a Robin, you know, and I know we got Burt Ward and like the 66 one and stuff, but even he was campy. Like I just wished we could have got a better version because for me speaking, I think the movies would have been a bit better for me, specifically speaking. Obviously, you can't go back and change them. Obviously, I wasn't even born yet, so I could. It's not like I
Yeah.
could have walked into the Warner Brothers Studios and be like, "Put Dick Grayson in this movie, or you're getting sacked." You know, I wished I could have
Yeah.
because you know it would have got. To be fair, I think
so
if a
dumb.
lot of us were alive back then and we could have walked in the door, we probably could have told a lot of better stories than half the shit that we see nowadays, especially with Warner Brothers.
Well,
But
Yeah.
my issue with like Batman Forever, Dick Grayson's too old.
yeah,
He
oh,
was
dude,
old.
fucking don't get me
But
started on that.
we have to save that for the next one, like,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
what we're gonna be talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
see the
we'll have
reason.
you
See
back on for that
so,
one.
okay, there's a story behind why they never had. You know, Keaton never had his Robin. Keaton's Batman never had his Robin. He was supposed to be in this movie. They just could not find an actor that would, you know, had chemistry with Michael Keaton
Mm.
to have a Robin. They just could
Ooh.
not find one at the time.
Well, I'm telling this to DC right now. Matt Reeves, whatever, right? You see, if you need a Nightwing or a Dick Grayson, here's your guy. Here's your guy. All I have to do is dye this black, which I've already had black hair before, and I can easily play an amazing Dick Grayson. So if you want someone, come to me because I will actually do the fucking role right because I know my character.
And like you're gonna have to tone down the Scottish accent a little bit. You're gonna have to go straight.
Oh yeah, no,
American,
like
man.
that's fine. Like I will go out and learn a completely different accent if I have to. Like I'm willing to put in the time and effort. So we
I'd pay
finally
to see
get a
that.
comic
I'd pay
accurate
it.
fucking Dick Grayson, please. This is the
I'd
only
pay to
time
see
I'll
that.
be willing to do something for Warner Brothers to help them fix this universe. Please, if you're gonna do it, just get me because you know what? Chop it a wee bit if you need to. Dye it black. I'll rock up with the fucking two things. I'll do it just as better than anybody could. And also, the luxury is behind these glasses, I still look about fucking 17, 13 apparently to most people, so it would work.
But there's
Let's go
one
for
thing see, the thing is with Robin, you know, you have to get the right age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't. You can't. I mean, Chris O'Donnell was what 24, 25 when he played
Yeah.
that.
24,
But the
25.
issue
Yeah.
with him was that he looked his age for the time where, like, it's
Yeah.
okay casting someone who's like 24, 25, but they need to look younger. They need to look at least 16, 17 to
Yeah.
make it more believable.
They should have had the Ralph Macchio look or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
just
they
stay
need to
young
have a look
forever.
where they have somewhat of that clean shaven baby face, you know, that looks like they could be still a teenager.
I mean, you do know Machio was like 22,
Yep.
25
Yeah.
years old when he played
Yeah.
the first time he played in Karate Kid.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And I
You
mean-
need someone like that. So, but no, that's what I'm saying. It's like for me, it's like one of the things that I always felt like I did know about the fact that he was supposed to be in this movie, and every time I hear that we're supposed to get a Dick Grayson Robin in a movie and it gets stolen from us time and time again, I get pissed because he's one of the most integral part of Batman's story. You know, it's one of the first
Yeah.
things that happens within the first beginning years of Batman's career. Like, yeah, he starts off, you know, like brooding and stuff, but within like year 3 to year 5 is when Dick Grayson comes along in most storyline. And
Yeah,
every
and
time we
Yeah.
get close to it, we don't get it.
Well, you got to think before you know he got his first Robin. Batman was on that path to finally killing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, look how many times in that series up until he got his first Robin, how many times he came very close to killing the Joker, more
Mhm.
times than
Yeah.
I can count. Robin was the focal point to put him on his moral course.
Yeah. Well,
Because
that's
he
the thing.
saw he saw in Robin's hate for the guy that killed his parents,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's like he could see himself in Robin, seeing how you know the path he was on, and that's what straightened Batman up to get Robin not to become him.
Yeah.
Well, what I also want to see in a movie is I want to see Tony Zuko in a movie, not have Two-Face kill his parents. Tony Zuko.
Yes.
That's the guy
Yeah.
that kills his parents. I want to see a
Yeah.
real adaptation of this fucking storyline because it's a beautiful storyline. Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
sad and twisted, but that's the beauty of these stories is that they're not all nice because back then, comics weren't always for kids back then. It was more predominantly aimed at teenagers a lot of the time. And comics were like that for a while, but some odd reason they started marketing more and more younger and, you know, they got whatever way they did. And then they got more and more like progressively back to teenagers, right? And one of the things that I always think is that why don't we get those types of things in these Batman movies? It's like they always get the vengeance and everybody. It's like, dude, I don't want to see a fucking depressed Batman. Like, I've seen too much depressed Batman. Can I know just get a Batman that actually, like, that's what the end of the Batman for me, which was made it more, I think it's like he realized he couldn't just be vengeance. So now the next logical step is to introduce his Robin,
Hope.
Dick Grayson. So then it makes more sense for that he would then become the Hope that he's talking about at the end of the Batman. And then also his next Hope would be Dick Grayson, because if you know the comic book lore, Dick Grayson is the version of Batman that Batman wanted Batman to be because what he done for Nightwing. And that's what the beauty story is. You know, I don't like the fact that they keep trying to remove that from Batman.
Well, I mean, if you look, I mean, at the end of the Batman movie, like he says, you know, he becomes the hero that Gotham needed, not what he wanted. You know, and it's like okay, like back in Batman Returns. I mean, yeah, Batman Returns.
Yeah.
If you watch
Going back to Bat Returns.
yeah. Well, I mean, in that movie, you know, like those 4 movies, you know, we got, you know, Batman Forever. We finally got, you know, too old of a version of Dick Grayson, which Chris O'Donnell wasn't a bad performance. I just think it, you know,
Not in Forever. In Batman and Robin, yes, but in Forever, he was actually somewhat decent.
Yeah. To me, I just don't know if a Robin would have been good in the 2 first movies at all.
Okay.
Burning ones.
Because if you think about it, okay, so like it wasn't more where you could have had. I mean, you could have had a Robin in there, but it would have been like you had time you had Joker and you had Penguin, Catwoman.
You like babysitting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I could see your point there too.
Would I've liked to have seen, you know, maybe a cameo of a Dick
Or maybe
Grayson,
at the end of the movie, like slowly introduce him then at least.
or at least, you know, have it like a post-credit scene where Batman's going to the circus and you see the flying Grayson sign or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
I
just
think,
before the post-credit was actually invented, so.
and my thing is that in Batman Forever, it's like, no, Two-Face.
We'll get there when we get there for Batman Forever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, we'll
But
get
I
there when we
mean,
get
but,
there.
like I was saying about Batman Returns, I think that whole subplot with the whole making Batman look bad, and then the Penguin trying to be mayor, which he did that in the comic books.
Yeah,
I mean, can we at least agree that who's the guy that played
Christopher Walken.
Max? Yeah, he stole that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah. See,
allegedly
Walking
that,
he was supposed to be the Mad Hatter. That's what I heard.
He was supposed to be, yeah, but they
that's
changed it
the
to
thing
Shrek.
that I think when it comes to these movies, I think that's one of the things that I remember like about these movies is like like one of the things that they shouldn't do all the time. Like I love comic accurate storylines, but certain ones don't work in movies. So I
Yeah,
see where you're coming from. Like Penguin taking over as mayor and making Batman seem like the villain. That's cool. It can be believable, but you don't really need to adaptate that. Like it's one of
No,
those things that work better in a comic.
and
it
also
would.
like I didn't like the part where like he was like basically trying to like basically wanted to foot Catwoman or whatever. He says like I would like to play with your pussy hate and everything. Like
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I hated about all these movies. They were all super fucking HORNY because you can't see it on YouTube for these days because demonetization. Even though we don't have monetization yet, when we do, I don't want them coming back and getting all the old videos because we shaved off the word. So anyway, it's ridiculous. Like all this, like all the inappropriate jokes, as we shall call them, is rampant through these movies. It's so bad. It's like I'm sorry. It's so, like I don't know if like Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher were virgins during this point in time, but goddamn,
yeah.
stop with those types of jokes, man.
Joe Schumacher was telling on himself in Batman and Robin with the poison ivy stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I did not like Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy. She would have been a better Catwoman than Poison Ivy in my book.
Yeah, I would believe so too.
Yeah.
But I see, like when it comes to returns, overall, like rounding it off and rounding it up, for me, I think it's still a solid. Like, ironically, Danny, 8 out of 10. And for me, it's still an 8 out of 10. Like it's a good watch. You will enjoy it if you are a Batman fan. But if you're like me and Danny, there is things that you're not gonna like if you're an avid Batman fan. And obviously the same with Phantom X. He was the same. Even some of the stuff he went to see this in cinema, and he still thinks this is one of the better versions of like the best one of these movies, and he still thinks that there is issues. So just goes to show you, even if you do have nostalgia, don't let it fucking blind you. Just putting that out there for all the wee fanboys that are going to comment being like, "Oh my god, how can you hate my movie? Oh my god, shut the fuck up." Anyway.
Well, this always how I say it. We're just guys on YouTube giving our opinion. Go watch it for yourself. Make your own opinion.
Yeah.
And see if you can see what we see. And if you have issues with it, that means you're not crazy. You're not like the die on the hill defending a movie that's just god awful.
Yeah. The amount of times I hear people speak about a movie that I physically despise, I don't sit there in comment sections being like, "How dare you say this about this movie? It was clearly garbage." Like, why are you wasting your energy? Go touch some grass. Maybe make some friends. I don't know. Just fucking do something better than sit and bitch and moan because your favorite character got slightly slated by some guy on YouTube. How dare, like, dude, it's an opinion. Like, if I can tell anything to anybody out there when it comes to especially fandoms, shut up. No one cares about your opinion just as much as you don't care about mine. But clearly you do for some reason because you're sitting typing away. But I don't care what you think about my opinion because guess what? At the end of the day, it's an opinion. We can move on. We don't need to fight over it because guess what? We're men. We're grown-ups. We're grown ladies. Or grown whatever the fuck you want to be, right? But stop being whiny little bitches because your favorite comic book character got a little bit fucking hangy and somebody didn't like it. Shut up. Sorry, I just needed to do a public PSA for a long time. I've been sitting on that one for a while, especially when we do these videos. Because I'm sick and tired of someone being like, "Oh, well, I liked it back when I was younger." I know you did. I don't give a fuck. Cool. You enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm not taking that away from you for saying I don't enjoy it as much. Just let it be what it is.
Opinions are like assholes. We all have them.
Exactly. And if you don't like them, you can move away from them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway, Danny, what about you? What would your score be?
So for me, like I said, like surprisingly, I give it a 7.5 out of 10 or
Oh,
whatever. It's
damn.
not like the it's like I said, I just don't have an attachment to Burden like that. Like I like his other stuff outside of Batman or
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's just me and everything. Like now once again, don't tap me in the comment section and call me all types of names or whatever. Like I heard them all in high school, so I already know what you've been to say and everything. So, but yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for me or whatever. Like, I like it. I'll throw it on when it's Christmas time or whatever because it's a Christmas movie. Hashtag Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. And,
Yes, it is.
that's just my opinion. Phantom
Okay,
X, what
so
do you think,
Phantom
man?
X, what would you rate it now as an adult, as a person that's just recently rewatched it? What is your personal ranking for this movie?
8.5.
Okay.
Huh.
See?
There's
Three different opinions.
since I got a chance, I went back and rewatched all four, even Batman, Robin. My eyes.
It's all right. You won't need to ever cover that. We've already done that for our
We
own
already did
pleasure.
that.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it still holds up. I mean, the special effects, the matte paintings, I mean, still the part where he has to like save the Batmobile and he's going to that corner and he makes the bat pod thing, right? Looks
Yeah.
way better than it did in the Nolan film.
Mm.
That still holds up. I mean, when the Batmobile literally transforms and he's in the Batcave before he uses his little first ever CD in a movie, with the Penguins recording on it.
Mm.
And I mean, just the special effects still hold up. The makeup still holds up. The models, the map work. I think the one thing that does bug me about that movie is the whole when Keaton has to pull his cowl off, and you see the dark around his eyes, but then before he does, you can see there's no black around his eyes, and he pulls it off.
Mhm.
But yeah, I give it a solid 8.5. It still holds up.
Yeah, well, since we're at the end of the video, Danny, it is where we like to do the post-credit scene. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure you can tell what's going to be next because we decided to be stupid and put all these movies back to back. So, are we going to see my favorite character? Are we going to see... Well, actually, are we going to see a Jim Carrey Riddler? Are we going to see... I don't know. Like that Tommy Jones or whatever the fuck his name is from fucking
Tommy Lee Jones,
Batman.
man, get it right. He's
Tommy
an
Lee
All-American. He's an
Dude,
All-American
I like
Texan.
I like his acting. I just don't like his Two Face.
a-
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's an All-American Texan. Anyway, you know what? We're gonna end the stream right now because I don't like the disrespect to Tommy Lee Jones not playing like.
but anyway, I have been Kanan Wolf. That has been MMA King Chris Jr. And for the first time, and maybe coming back, let's see, Phantom X.
Yeah.